48 teams, 104 matches, 16 host cities, and millions of fans moving across 3 countries in just 39 days. For city leaders, this is the kind of event they brag about for years. Atlanta organizers have described it as several Super Bowl-level events packed into one summer, while local partners have called the World Cup a moment to bring people together. Mexico City is preparing for the opening match like a global celebration, and Philadelphia expects more than 500,000 visitors while hosting matches during America's 250th anniversary. Hotels will fill fast, bars will be packed before kickoff, and airports are going to test people's patience before they even reach the city. Most fans will arrive thinking about goals, flags, food, photos, and the kind of trip they'll talk about for years. Then the trip starts charging them for bad planning. Kansas City is expecting around 650,000 visitors, so that cheap hotel far from the stadium may not feel so cheap after traffic and rideshare surge. Houston can feel like 105 to 110 degrees when heat and humidity stack up, which is a bad time to find out beer doesn't count as water. Miami's Hard Rock Stadium already saw ticketless fans rush the gates during the Copa America final, so let's just go near the stadium is not a plan. So today, we're counting down 10 World Cup host cities tourists should be careful in 2026. Comment which host city you'd still visit no matter what. Number 10, Seattle. Seattle is one of America's best looking host cities, with water on one side, mountain ranges in the distance, great coffee, seafood, Pike Place Market, and that clean Pacific Northwest look that makes tourists feel like nothing too messy could happen here. A clear afternoon downtown can make the entire area feel way too relaxed to even belong on a warning list. Then match day hits, Lumen Field fills up, transit lines packed tightly, and that calm Seattle mood turns into a maze of elbows, backpacks, jerseys, and lost visitors staring at digital maps. Seattle will handle 6 matches, bringing large international crowds into King County and putting pressure on hotel availability, airport security lines, and downtown restaurant seating. Lumen Field sits right by Pioneer Square, SoDo, the Chinatown International District, and key transit routes, so pre-match and post-match crowds will push through places like Pike Place Market and narrow downtown sidewalks. Don't keep your backpack hanging wide open behind you while navigating Pike Place Market, 3rd Avenue transit stops, or the packed blocks near the stadium. Crowds give small-time theft good visual cover, and tired fans make easy targets because they walk around emotional, distracted, and carrying too much gear. Looking down at a phone for directions with a passport pouch, a camera, and a team scarf sticking out of a back pocket is doing free marketing for pickpockets. Don't leave luggage visible in a rental car while stepping away to grab seafood or take a quick waterfront photo. Tourists visiting Seattle will gladly pay $8 for coffee, then somehow convince themselves that leaving a suitcase in a parked back seat is a smart financial decision. Thieves often look for rental vehicles with out-of-state plates, and popping a trunk to retrieve a jacket before walking away can signal exactly where the valuables sit. If your group brings heavy bags, drop them at the hotel desk immediately before starting your sightseeing. Don't assume the shortest walking route shown on a digital map is the smartest path back to a hotel after a match. Wandering down an empty industrial side street that looked fine at 2 in the afternoon feels very different near midnight when businesses close, phone batteries die, and the main crowd has vanished. Seattle is still worth visiting, especially if you love coffee, water views, seafood, and walkable neighborhoods. Enjoy the views, but keep your bag secured in front of you and don't use your rental vehicle as public storage. Number 9, Kansas City. Kansas City is one of America's most underrated sports towns, with legendary barbecue, jazz history, friendly locals, and a football culture that doesn't need to fake enthusiasm. The city feels more welcoming and local than Los Angeles or Miami, and that relaxed Midwest feeling can make visitors let their guard down too quickly. A smaller host city doesn't automatically mean an easier World Cup trip. Local planners expect around 650,000 visitors arriving for 6 matches, including a quarterfinal, which means a lot of international fans landing, eating, drinking, finding hotels, calling rideshares, and trying to figure out where Arrowhead actually is. Arrowhead Stadium doesn't sit inside a neat, walkable downtown tourist square surrounded by barbecue joints, fan festivals, and hotels. The stadium sits in the Truman Sports Complex, so visitors need a real transportation plan to move between the airport, hotel, fan festival, nightlife, and match day routes. Don't book a cheap motel an hour away simply because the nightly rate saves your group $30. Saving a little cash up front can turn into a 2-hour transit headache, missed shuttle connections, painful rideshare surge pricing, and uncomfortable late-night walks along roads never designed for tourists in jerseys. That cheap room loses its charm when your group is standing on dark asphalt after midnight, trying to call a ride back to an address nobody can pronounce correctly. Kansas City will happily serve you incredible ribs, then remind you that your bed, your food, and your stadium are separated by miles of concrete. Moving between the Power and Light District, Westport, the designated fan festival, and Arrowhead Stadium requires deliberate travel planning. Stumbling out of a downtown bar after midnight and assuming a 22-minute walking route is fine might lead you through empty sidewalks, large unlit parking lots, and fast-moving roads. Kansas City Police recorded 138 homicides throughout the metro in 2025, so real violent crime concerns still sit outside the tournament bubble. That doesn't mean tourists need to avoid Kansas City, but drunk visitors wearing bright international jerseys shouldn't wander away from busy commercial zones or start arguments with locals after a tough loss. Eat the famous brisket, enjoy the crowd, and cheer as loud as you want. Just don't let a friendly atmosphere convince you that traffic, distance, and late-night transportation suddenly stopped mattering. Number 8, Miami. Miami is one of America's most tempting tourist cities, with warm beaches, Cuban food, nightlife, Latin music, luxury hotels, clubs, and weather that makes people from colder places forget how fast a vacation can get messy. Stepping out of the airport can feel like starting a tropical vacation that just happens to include a few football matches. That relaxed vacation mood is exactly where tourists can start making bad decisions. Hard Rock Stadium will host 7 matches, including high-demand games like Brazil versus Scotland, pulling crowds into Miami Gardens while also filling South Beach, Brickell, Wynwood, and downtown hotel zones. South Florida already knows how quickly things can get out of control when thousands of people show up expecting to join a party they haven't actually paid for. Hard Rock Stadium had a serious crowd control failure during the Copa America 2024 final when thousands of ticketless fans rushed the security gates, people were crushed in the chaos, and the match was delayed for over an hour. Don't travel near Hard Rock Stadium on match day without a valid digital ticket just to soak up the atmosphere outside the gates. High-demand fixtures will have tighter security zones, heavy police presence, and very little patience for wandering crowds creating bottlenecks. Find an official FIFA fan zone, or get a table at a local sports bar instead of drifting toward the stadium perimeter hoping a distracted guard lets you close. Miami also has a major theft risk driven by tourist distraction. Don't rent a nice vehicle, park it near South Beach, Wynwood, or Brickell, and leave expensive luggage visible in the back seat. Newly arrived visitors often drive straight from the airport to a waterfront restaurant, shove suitcases in the trunk, and tell their friends they'll only be gone for 20 minutes. Traffic delays, another round of drinks, and a long photo session can quickly turn that 20-minute stop into a shattered window and a depressing phone call to the rental agency. Don't casually toss your phone onto a beach chair, a sticky bar table, or a club booth, assuming someone in your group is watching it. Your friend is not watching your phone. They're watching the bartender, admiring the ocean, cheering at the television, or looking at absolutely nothing useful. Careless tourists getting sunburned, drinking in the afternoon heat, and moving through crowded nightlife districts help create easy opportunities for stolen electronics. Storm season adds another layer, with the Atlantic hurricane window opening on June 1st and bringing heavy downpours, flooded intersections, canceled flights, and rising rideshare prices. Enjoy the nightlife and the food, but don't let a tropical breeze dismantle your basic common sense. Number 7, San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco is one of the most iconic travel destinations in the world, with the Golden Gate Bridge, cable cars, steep streets, seafood, bay views, tech money, and neighborhoods that look ready for travel photos. Booking a flight to Northern California makes perfect sense for an international visitor wanting a great vacation around the World Cup. The issue is geography, because the matches aren't happening in the famous foggy hills of San Francisco. Levi's Stadium sits about an hour south in Santa Clara, and underestimating that distance leads directly to some of the most annoying mistakes tourists make in the Bay Area. Hosting 6 matches in Santa Clara means thousands of fans will land at SFO or Oakland, book expensive hotels near Fisherman's Wharf, spend the morning taking photos, and then casually try to travel south right before kickoff. Treating the Bay Area like a dense, walkable European capital can punish your whole day. Don't leave a single bag, jacket, or piece of electronics visible inside a parked rental car near the Golden Gate Bridge, Palace of Fine Arts, Lombard Street, Muir Woods, or any popular scenic overlook. Warnings about rental car break-ins here aren't just paranoid travel advice. National Park Service data has highlighted larceny problems targeting parked cars across the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, with park police handling thousands of shattered glass reports in recent periods. Thieves understand the rhythm of tourist behavior. Park the car, leave the luggage in the trunk, walk a few hundred yards away for a bridge selfie, and return 10 minutes later to an empty vehicle. Criminals are not distracted by the bay views, and throwing a cheap jacket over a heavy backpack does not fool anyone working the parking lots. Popping your trunk to retrieve a camera battery in a crowded parking lot can show exactly where your valuables are hidden. Don't book an expensive hotel deep inside San Francisco without mapping out how you're reaching Santa Clara on game day. A visitor finishing lunch near North Beach might glance at their phone and suddenly realize Levi's Stadium requires highway traffic, specific Caltrain timing, VTA light rail transfers, and long security lines. Getting back north after the final whistle adds a whole new headache. A late-night surge-priced ride back to the city while you're standing tired on a Santa Clara sidewalk can drain your travel budget fast. San Francisco is a gorgeous backdrop for a World Cup trip, but the region punishes loose planning. Take the cable car ride, eat the sourdough, enjoy the stadium atmosphere, and don't donate your vacation luggage to the parking lot economy. Number 6, Atlanta. Atlanta is one of America's most important modern southern cities, with civil rights history, hip-hop influence, business growth, black culture, film, nightlife, HBCUs, and one of the busiest airports on Earth. Energy, local pride, and a strong event culture give Atlanta a special kind of momentum when big crowds arrive. Adding a global football tournament to that energy creates real pressure on traffic, transit, hotels, and downtown movement. Atlanta will host 8 matches, including a semifinal at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, sending big crowds through Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, downtown hotel blocks, 5 Point Station, Peachtree Center, Centennial Olympic Park, Midtown, and the rideshare zones near the stadium. Local organizers have described the workload as close to hosting 8 Super Bowl-level events across a few short weeks. That's a lot of movement for a metro area where locals already plan their day around highway traffic. Don't wait until the referee blows the final whistle to figure out how your group is getting back to the hotel. Tens of thousands of tired fans will flood the stadium exits at the same time, looking for MARTA trains, rideshare pickup zones, parking decks, bathrooms, food, and phone chargers while staring at dying screens. Opening the Uber app directly outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium and hoping for a quick ride is how you end up paying painful surge prices while standing near the wrong exit gate with 6% battery. Atlanta does not forgive tourists who say, "We can just figure out the ride later." Don't stand alone on a distant train platform or linger near a dark transit exit with your face buried in a glowing screen. MARTA is useful for avoiding street traffic, but visitors shouldn't treat the train network like a theme park ride. A fatal stabbing on a MARTA train in May 2026 forced the agency to reassure riders about World Cup security by pointing to thousands of cameras and hundreds of sworn officers. Tourists can still use the trains, but they need the same awareness they'd use in any major city after dark. Keep your phone secured, don't flash a heavy wallet, take off the noise-canceling headphones, and don't wander down an empty concourse because a digital map suggested a shortcut. Exiting at the wrong station or taking a wrong turn outside a downtown bar can quickly shift your surroundings from a bright tourist zone to a quiet, poorly lit commercial block. Lock down your post-match meeting spot early, screenshot your transit route before cell service crashes, and respect the size of the city. Atlanta can give tourists a great World Cup night, but it expects them to plan the ride home before the fun starts. Number 5, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is one of America's most historic cities, with the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, legendary cheesesteaks, intense sports fans, murals, row houses, and a local attitude that usually enters the room before the person does. Tourists arriving for a polite international football match may be surprised by how loud and direct the local culture can feel. Lincoln Financial Field will host 6 matches, including a round of 16 knockout fixture on July 4th, lining up with the city's role in America's 250th anniversary celebrations. A World Cup knockout match, Independence Day, national parades, heavy tourist traffic, and local celebrations all landing together creates one of the most crowded event days of the tournament. Tourism boards expect well over 500,000 visitors, and many of them will be drawn toward the 39-day FIFA Fan Festival at Lemon Hill. Pressure will build around the South Philadelphia Sports Complex, the Broad Street Line, Center City corridors, Old City historical sites, and major hotel lobbies across the region. Don't wander away from the stadium district after a match while drunk, tired, and confused. The South Philadelphia Sports Complex is built to handle large sports crowds, but that does not mean every surrounding block is a smart place for a lost tourist at 1 a.m. Leaving a July 4th knockout match means following the main crowd, sticking to well-lit routes, and ignoring the urge to find a faster shortcut down a quiet street. Don't start arguments with local sports fans just to capture viral content for your social media feed. Philadelphia sports culture can mix loyalty, sharp humor, generosity, and a very direct attitude in one conversation. Add daytime drinking, national pride, a packed train platform, and a tourist shoving a camera lens into someone's face, and the mood can change fast. Locals may insult your parking job, demand you try a specific sandwich, and help you find your train in the same breath. That abrasive warmth does not give visitors permission to act stupid. Don't hold your unlocked phone loosely while navigating Broad Street Line stations, the crowded 15th Street corridors, or the packed Lemon Hill Fan Festival. Crowds create the perfect setting for dropped phones, open bags, and distracted tourists who are filming everything except the person standing too close behind them. Don't pack a civilian drone, assuming stadium security will treat it like a harmless vacation camera. Strict no drone zones around major venues mean launching a drone over a World Cup crowd can turn you from an annoying tourist into a security problem. Eat the heavy food, respect the history, enjoy the local energy, and don't let the festive atmosphere lower your guard. Number 4, Los Angeles. Los Angeles is one of the most famous cities on Earth, selling tourists on Hollywood glamour, beaches, movie studios, diverse food, palm trees, and residents who somehow accept traffic as part of daily life. For millions of international fans, Southern California feels like the dream World Cup stop. Travel problems start when visitors treat Los Angeles like one city instead of a wide spread of neighborhoods connected by freeways that can ruin your schedule. Los Angeles will host 8 matches at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, and Reuters reported that Olympic planners see those games as a test for the 2028 LA Games. When match day is useful practice for Olympic traffic, security, and crowd control, tourists shouldn't treat the hotel to stadium trip like a small detail. Don't book a hotel room simply because the listing says Los Angeles. SoFi Stadium sits in Inglewood, miles away from the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the Santa Monica Pier, Koreatown, downtown LA, and LAX in the way tourists often imagine. A room that looks close on a map can still cost you hours in traffic, a painful rideshare bill, and a pre-game plan that falls apart before lunch. Tourists constantly think they found a cheap room near everything, then spend 45 minutes in traffic learning that everything was a lie. Don't wait until the morning of the match to figure out where your rental car can legally park. Parking near SoFi Stadium during major international events can become a major extra cost, and basic vehicle storage can suddenly feel like another ticket. A distant, cheap hotel, last-minute parking, and surged post-match rideshare can quietly eat whatever travel budget you thought you saved. Don't leave a shopping bag, camera strap, charging cable, or team jersey visible inside a rental car parked near Venice Beach, Santa Monica, Hollywood tourist spots, or the lots around Inglewood. Thieves look for places packed with jet-lagged visitors, rental vehicles, luggage, and newly purchased team gear. Check into your hotel when you arrive. Use a secure luggage hold if your room isn't ready, and don't pop your trunk in a busy parking structure before walking away toward a restaurant. Don't expect the rideshare experience after a SoFi match to be fast, cheap, or emotionally gentle. Tens of thousands of people leaving at once can trigger road closures, confusing pickup zones, weak cell service, and gridlock. Pick a real meeting landmark before entering the stadium, screenshot walking directions, and protect the battery life of whoever holds the digital tickets. Los Angeles can deliver a great World Cup trip, but only to visitors who plan around the size of the city instead of pretending it fits inside one Uber ride. Number 3, Houston. Houston is one of America's biggest, most diverse, and most underrated food cities, with barbecue, NASA history, Vietnamese food, Mexican food, Nigerian food, big suburbs, big roads, and weather that does not care about your vacation. Calling Houston boring would be wrong. Calling it physically enormous is just accurate. 7 matches at NRG Stadium, local projections of 500,000 visitors, and a long fan festival will create pressure around downtown Houston, the museum district, airport corridors, EADU, parking areas, and hotel zones. In Houston, the first warning doesn't start with crime or scams. It starts with heat. Aviation officials have warned incoming tournament visitors to expect daytime temperatures between 85 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, backed by humidity that can push the heat index past 105 degrees. Ignoring that heat can lead to dizziness, dehydration, headaches, and missing kickoff because you tried to save $12 by walking 2 miles down a concrete sidewalk at 2 in the afternoon. Don't walk long distances in the midday sun just to avoid paying for an air-conditioned ride. A walking route that looks manageable on a phone can feel completely different when the air is heavy, there's no shade, your jersey sticks to your back, and you're carrying merchandise. Houston heat doesn't give you much warning. You feel fine, then suddenly you're dizzy, thirsty, and wondering why you packed dark clothing. Don't spend 8 hours drinking beer in a crowded fan festival and forget to drink actual water. NRG Stadium has a fully enclosed climate-controlled roof, but the risky moments happen outside the gates while visitors wait in shuttle lines, unshaded rideshare zones, and hot asphalt parking lots. A fan can sit through a full match of feeling fine, then start feeling awful while standing shoulder to shoulder with thousands of people trying to board a delayed bus. Don't casually navigate Houston freeways after a high-emotion match if you don't understand the local driving rhythm. The highways are wide, fast, and full of sudden lane shifts that punish distracted tourists staring at GPS. Sudden rainstorms can flood local roads, drop visibility, and make digital navigation far less helpful while you're trying to cross multiple lanes of traffic. Don't launch a civilian drone anywhere near the stadium footprint, fan festival, or tailgating areas because law enforcement will treat it as a security issue, not a cute travel video. Houston offers a great experience for food lovers and football fans, as long as they manage the heat, the roads, and the long distances before the day gets away from them. Number 2. Mexico City. Mexico City is one of the great cultural centers of the world, with street food, deep history, architecture, markets, museums, and a football passion that can take over entire neighborhoods. Travel writers keep featuring the city for a reason. It's exciting, layered, beautiful, and easy to underestimate if you arrive with no plan. The opening match between Mexico and South Africa at Estadio Azteca puts the entire city under heavy pressure from day one. Opening day isn't just a football match. It brings international media, local fans, visiting fans, officials, airport crowds, protests, road closures, and unfinished projects into one of the busiest cities on the planet. Days before major events, global news outlets have reported teachers' protests, local demonstrations, and unfinished infrastructure projects disrupting key routes like Paseo de la Reforma. Visitors often assume they can call an Uber an hour before kickoff and glide through the streets. Mexico City can humble that plan within the first 20 minutes. Don't hail a random unmarked taxi off the street if you have another transportation option, especially when leaving a loud fan zone after midnight. Official travel advisories remind tourists that legitimate city taxis use pink and white branding, while street hails can lead to overcharging, broken card machines, or stressful detours. Walking out of a bar after a match, tired, excited, and unable to explain your route in Spanish gives a dishonest driver too much room to take advantage of you. Use verified ride-hailing apps, hotel-arranged transport, or official taxi stands when possible. Don't pack your passport, backup cards, and all your cash into one easy-to-reach backpack compartment. Roma, Condesa, and Centro Historico are visually stunning, but they also come with crowded squares, street markets, and dense metro platforms. Losing a cheap wallet is annoying, but losing your passport and every payment option can turn into a full embassy day. Don't walk toward large protests or police lines just because you want dramatic footage for social media. Local political crowds can shift quickly, and a tourist holding a phone is not protected by international confusion. Don't underestimate the trip south to Estadio Azteca on a high-stakes match day. Normal traffic already moves slowly, and an opening match featuring the national team will add bottlenecks across the city. Eat the tacos, explore the museums, use trusted rides, and don't carry your entire life in one pocket like you're making a donation to the local pickpocket community. Number 1. Guadalajara. Guadalajara is one of Mexico's great cultural cities, proud of its mariachi roots, tequila heritage, historic plazas, street markets, food, and deep football identity. Treating it like a random secondary dot on the tournament map would be a mistake. Jalisco can deliver some of the most memorable moments of the 2026 World Cup, especially when the national team is playing and the city feels fully awake. That warm, welcoming energy is exactly why tourists need to stay aware instead of getting carried away. Estadio Akron will host 4 matches, including Mexico versus South Korea in the group stage, a game that can fill the city with national colors, drinking, traffic, and late-night celebrations. The stadium sits outside the historic center in Zapopan, so visitors need to plan how they're moving between downtown hotels, Plaza Liberacion Fan Festival, the Chapultepec nightlife corridor, and the stadium gates before the drinking starts. Guadalajara can feel warm, musical, and easy to enjoy, especially when the food is good and the crowd is happy. A warm welcome is not a security plan. Don't flash cash, designer watches, or expensive phones while wandering after an emotional match. High-energy fixtures can push large, drunk crowds into nightlife corridors and taxi lines, creating easy openings for opportunistic thieves. Waving around a $2,000 phone while trying to flag down a ride at 2 in the morning makes you far too easy to notice. Don't follow friendly strangers out of a loud bar just because they promise to show your group a better local party. That sentence has ruined vacations all over the world. In Guadalajara, nightlife, tequila, post-match adrenaline, and unfamiliar streets can make tourists overconfident fast. The danger usually isn't the first friendly invitation. The danger is getting into a car you don't recognize, going to a neighborhood you can't name, losing your group, and realizing nobody knows how to get back to the hotel. Don't drive a rental car through unfamiliar highway corridors after dark, and don't wander away from well-lit tourist zones because a digital map suggests a shortcut. Turning a daytime trip to Tequila into a midnight adventure with no reliable ride back to the city is a terrible idea. Official travel safety guidance tells tourists to monitor regional updates and be careful with movement after dark. Ranking Guadalajara at number 1 doesn't mean football fans should avoid Jalisco. Go for the culture, the football, the food, and yes, the tequila. Just don't turn off your brain because someone handed you a drink. Most fans will have an amazing trip, but the ones who enjoy it most will be the people who plan before they party, keep their bags close, know their ride home, and don't treat every crowded street like a safe shortcut. The World Cup will be loud, expensive, crowded, and unforgettable, so enjoy every minute without becoming the easiest target in the crowd. Comment below which host city you'd be most careful in, and which one you'd still visit anyway. If this video helped, hit subscribe for more travel warnings like this. Stay safe, enjoy the tournament, and I'll see you in the next one.